enemy of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, I just want a life that is worth every day exploring,
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be.
1 week from today, it is the 2022 NFL Draft. We're going to be live on Lions Nation Unite. I'm going to be in person with Herman Moore, Chrissy, and Everything King, and we are going to crush this draft. Make sure, night one, that you jump on that channel, subscribe to it so you can see myself live, and Detroit Lions podcast can be live as well. Make sure you go over there to my friend, my buddy, Chris. What's going on, man?
How you doing, brother? Glad to be on finally with you. Great to join you.
Man, it's great to have Chris on, folks. If you're not subscribed to Detroit Lions podcast, you're nuts. We need to give them to 5,000 subscribers. That's Chris. That's Riz. These guys, they drop the best content. It's not copyrighted. It's not secondhand. It's firsthand. They are the best. They're best when it comes to Detroit and pride of. They are the number one guys there. Folks, we're going to be talking about the NFL draft today. We're going to talk about rumors. We're going to talk about everything. I screwed up that intro. I know, because I am an F up. But I'm not going to F up you guys. We got Devon, Jacob, what's going on? Chrome, Jamie, Pooh Man, 9 Drinks, NFL Junkie, Lisa, Carolina guy. What's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. We got Shell, Rail, Steve-O. We got a show. We got Chrome. We got Ted Cheney, Lisa, and Steve-O again, man. Make sure you hit that like button. We got 65 in the building. Let's get to 50 likes. I think it can get done. I think it can. I don't know about you, Chris, but yesterday I felt like the Detroit Lions Twitterverse, the Detroit Lions universe went nuts when the San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel says, I want to trade. And obviously the Lions were part of it. We seen it in the Twitter. What do you think about Deebo Samuel and the Detroit Lions? Do you think it can happen, or are you going to crush people's dreams, or are you going to just put some reality in this mug?
I always love to dream, and thank you so much for everything you said up front, Mike. I appreciate it. God, I'm so used to this. I appreciate that, man. It meant a lot. And I did hit the like button, so if anyone else is out there watching right now, make sure you bash that thing and get it in there and get that thumbs going. On Deebo, look, I go back, I sit back, and I think about Sandman and I doing sitting together while Riz was kind of being the belle of the ball with his friends. We really did a deep look at Deebo at the Senior Bowl, and we just were madly in love with him. We wanted him so badly. He didn't land where we wanted him. He went away, and now he could be available. I think a lot of people are focusing on the running back thing with Deebo, saying, oh, well, he doesn't want to be a running back. Well, that's where he got his stats. We can't use him. He's not going to be as good for anyone anymore. Wrong. Oh, that guy's a great wide receiver. He's got a lot to offer in all kinds of roles as a wide receiver. I think he would be just a massive home run for the Lions to land. Will we? I think that's a different story. It's a completely different story. I think there's a lot playing around with contracts right here. A lot of wide receivers getting their bag right now. There's also a lot of really good talent out in the draft hitting the field this year coming out, and I think you're going to see the extra talent that's in the league. You're going to see the players that come out and are probably going to push the value of a wide receiver down, at least relative to the other positions. I think some, especially quarterback, is going to shoot through the roof. I think that's going to overshadow the money that wide receiver is going to be able to get next year. I think if you're Deebo and you're his agent, you happen to be DK Metcalf's agent as well. You want that bag, you want that big bag, and you want it right now because this is the market to get it in. That's what I think he's pushing for. I don't think that he's out there for real, but if he is, judging by Brad Holmes today in his presser and what he was talking about, the Lions will absolutely go to town and try to get him. So I have faith that if there's potential, it's a possibility, the Lions will be in that game. I just don't, from my perspective, I don't feel like that's a real game to play right now.
You know what's really in the game is Mike Barker Hotmail, who just became a member to my channel. Appreciate you, my guy. Said he finally made it. Hey, I'm happy that you made it. Hopefully you make it next week. That's the big time. If you were to trade for a Deebo Samuel, what are you willing to get up? Mike Valenti, 97, won the ticket, said he'd give up 32 and 34. Is that something you would do? I mean, that's some big draft picks right there.
That's a lot. And we'll talk about the draft. One of our needs is wide receiver. I think in those top three, I look at, edge, defensive end. I look at safety, and I look at wide receiver. And you take 33 and 34, and you get that wide receiver. Oh, boy, you do. But you think Deebo, you think Chark, you think Reynolds, you think Amon-Ra. All of a sudden, you are elite at that, and you'll know everything that you need to know about Jared Goff at the end of that season, right? You'll know if you need a quarterback or not, and that kind of a receiver group would make any quarterback look potentially elite, almost any. So yeah, he's impactful.
Name the quarterback.
Dude, it's hard.
You can't do that slate without putting the name in, man.
Oh God, no, there's so many.
That's true.
I think Goff would shine, would absolutely shine. People talk about the ceiling of Goff. The ceiling of Goff is a Super Bowl. He took a team to the Super Bowl that was less talented than the one that Stafford took this last year. And I don't know. I'm not saying Goff would have won it. I'm definitely not saying Goff is better than Stafford. But Stafford didn't win a playoff game when he was here, right? There's a big difference about the players that, the players that surround you have a lot to do with the success of a superstar, even at the caliber of Matthew Stafford. So putting that kind of player mix out there and receiver core out there for Jared Goff, and with what we saw from that running back core and healthy offensive line, you put Hawk. I mean, I just think about what this offense could be, what he could add. That is an absolute difference maker. Let's talk about it. You give up 32, 34. Say you get Hutchinson or Tibbs. It doesn't matter. Pick one at number 2 overall. You're looking really good. You're looking really, really good. You still need a safety. Can you pluck them that late? I don't know if you're going to get the guy at that point. Your secondary, your defense is going to be a little bit less, but that edge guy gives you a lot of help with the pass rush for the secondary. So a lot to think about. That's a lot to give.
What he's saying is this would be if you got him on this football team, seriously, he's saying this offense would go to the next level. What do you guys think in the comment section below? Let me know right now. Do you want the Detroit Lions to trade for Deebo Samuel? Y for yes, and for no. Let me know in the comment section. Spam it with an I, Y's, and N's. Let's do an informal poll. Let's see what you guys think. Let's see. Because yesterday it was 50-50. I had people on my video saying, hell yeah. I had people saying, hell no. Let's see right now, while your faces are here, live, what you guys think, man. Because personally, he's wanting to do it. I'm afraid to give up that type of capital. I'm afraid, man. That's a lot. We got Big D 73 says no. Alone Wolf, no. Samuel, no. No by Dern. Bring Deebo home. Why? Yes. Why? Jorabe. Why? Horse. Why? Ted. Why? Cameron. It's starting to come in. Jamie Ward, no. Joe Murdoch, no. Tim, no. So it's 50-50 again. And again, we got Michael Peters. Why? For the right price. Right price. So, do you think that a pick 32 and maybe 66 would get it done?
I feel like that. I'd feel a lot better about that. What's he have? A year left? 2 years in his contract? What do we have?
It could be a year or two. I know it's one of those, obviously.
Yeah, how much value are we giving up for what could be a potential rental, right?
I'm not going to do a rental. If you're trading, you've got to sign a contract.
Yeah, you got to sign and trade on that. That makes it all that much more difficult. I need some time out of him. I know, like, I love the Chark pickup, right? And if he performs, it's great. If he doesn't, you're in a deep hole, right? I mean, you absolutely need a wide receiver a good wide receiver in the draft this year. You may potentially have to go back to the well next year if Chark doesn't work out, right? So to land a guy like Deebo, get your guy now. Chark works great. If not, great. Your draft pick works great. If not great, you have the insurance, right? You have the insurance across the board. I like that idea. But if he's for a year, and we're seeing a year in the chat, thank you, Lisa. That's too much. It's way too rich. Way too rich. They're not going to win this year, right? We've got enough one-year deal wide receiver to see Chark and Deebo leave next year. Think about what that means.
That'd be a sad day.
How much did we waste?
Yeah. That'd be a sad day. So I personally don't think they're going to trade for it. I just don't. I just think it's too rich, like you were saying. I think they're just going to stay the course with the draft because there is going to be good wide receivers at 32, 34. George Pickens, Christian Watson, maybe even Treylon Burks is sitting there. And he's kind of a clone right there of a Deebo Samuel with his size and physicality. So I think that's the route they go. But number 2, this is the big question. Nobody really knows what's going on. I don't know about you, but the last couple years when we had Quinn Trisha, I felt like we all know what the pick was going to be. Jeffrey Okudah. Blah, blah. Like, it was so easy. It's different with these guys. I'm confused, man. I feel like I'm spinning. What is going on? What do you think, man? What do you think they're going to do?
We were talking to Burkhead not this last Senior Bowl, the one before, and we all knew and had different sources. It's Okudah. And it was Okudah. I'm not down on the Okudah pick. I might be after this year. We'll see how it goes. But Okudah is we all knew, and nothing changed. No information changed that pick. These guys run a tight ship, and they're really, really good at it. Not only is it a tight ship from a information perspective, but how they release the information. You know that some of those quotes from Holmes in today's presser were setups that they're going to use in the social media team's post-draft, hype video. They're already setting that up. They've already planned that out. And it's not because they've picked their guy, because when Brad Holmes says something like, "Oh, I want an impact player at number 2," he didn't tell anybody anything. They're asking, "You want a quarterback? I want an impact player. Quarterback, be whatever else," right? Straight up. And what are they going to do? They're going to pick up that quote. And if you think about anybody that's available at 2, if it's Hutch, if it's Tibbs, if it's Trayvon Walker, right? You put that quote next to their face, people are going to be like, "Yeah, we did what he said." Of course you did. You're going to get an impact player at number 2, especially before the season starts, right? So I think there's a lot of that's kind of going along. There's a lot of talk around who's going where and what they're doing. The one thing I know is I have confidence in these guys. So what do we have to do? We have to scout the players. We have to scout the talent. We have to think about, what does this team need? How would we build it? And, you even look at some of the consensus out there, right? You use the mind, not the hive mind, but the broader minds. Some of the guys like Kyle Krabs at the Draft Network, right? Riz, great mind, great connections, great opportunities to talk and think about this and bring groups of people and get that kind of more the cloud working on it and try to come up where you're at. I think number 2, I have nothing from the team, but it's going to be Hutch or Tibbs. I think that's where we're going to land. I don't think it's going to be Trayvon Walker. I think Trayvon Walker, I don't think he'll even go to the Jags unless the Jags read the newspaper as part of their draft process. I think he's just gotten a lot of press. I'm not saying he's a bad pick. I'm not saying he's a bad prospect or not a first rounder. I just don't see him as number 1 or number 2 overall. The question about what the Georgia defense brought versus what he brought is just too big to risk that when you have Tibbs and Hutchinson there.
I 100% agree with you. I've been saying this on my channel for ever since this Trayvon Walker stuff been taking place. He was talking about 20s in the draft, and now you're going all the way to 1 because of a combine. What about his done on the field? 9 total sacks of his career. You're with a all great defense in Georgia over there, and that's what you're doing. I want to see more than that. I want to see more than that. And if you look at what Brad Holmes loves, he loves his Oregon Ducks. He's a Quack 12 guy. He was over there when Oregon was playing week 4, week 5. I mean, I seen him over there scouting. And obviously, when it comes to Aidan Hutchinson, he's done a phenomenal job here in Michigan getting all these sacks, but we don't know if he's going to get selected by Jacksonville. If Jacksonville takes him, obviously you can't get him, but if they decide to go Evan Neal or if they wanted to go a different route, I think he would be the pick at 2 if they decided not to go that route. I 100% agree. I think it's Edge. I think it's one of those 2 guys. And I know a lot of people have been talking about, like Mel Kuiper Jr. said, getting Sauce Gardner at 2. I'm having a real hard time believing they're going to take a corner at 2. Real hard time. I don't believe it, and I don't really understand this. And then Daniel Jeremiah today was saying Stingley at 2.
I'll tell you, with Kuiper, I think they legalized marijuana in Maryland. Now, I have a friend who lives down the street from he's look, I don't know if it's a great way to get clicks or any of that, right? I don't know what's driving some of that. I don't know that even he believes that that sauce it too. It doesn't make sense. It's edge, it's hit Hutch or Tibbs for sure at 2. Book it. That's what they're grabbing. That's what they're doing. And I would be surprised by anything else. And if you talk about impact player, both of those guys have it. The people that have questions about Kayvon, I'm going to say, if anybody is able to get the best out of those guys, it's this staff. This staff can get the best out of any player, and they've spent time with Kayvon. They know what his, as Holmes said today, his football character is. They know how much he loves the game, what he's after, and what and his grind, and his overcoming the obstacles and using them as the means to win. They know where he's coming from, and I look at that guy and I see a guy that this team can coach with that kind of a talent and that kind of ability. They know. And so if they take Kayvon, I have no worries about what he can do. I think there's just a lot of talk about him and his dedication to the game. He didn't get to where he is strictly on athleticism. Nobody does, right?
Yeah.
Well, nobody. I guess you could say Ziggy Ansah did.
That's true. That's true. If he would have stayed healthy, it would have been great.
Yeah, that's what happens. 43 years old, though. But he's, it's rough when you get through and you're it's rough to get through at that level, as Kayvon did, and do it strictly on athleticism. I just don't, I don't believe that's all that's there. I think he's a guy that has the grind, has the work ethic. You look at what he carries as far as, body size, the rips on that man. he's gonna come in and start quacking some quarterbacks for us.
Then we call ourselves the Detroit Ducks. And there's something else that's in the mix here a lot of people don't realize. Penei Sewell, he knows Kayvon Thibodeaux. He was talking about bring Kayvon to the Detroit Lions. So if they really wanted an inside track, hey, Penei Sewell, is this guy a really hard worker? He's been saying, yeah, he's great. So, there you go. And if they
go ahead. Sorry, man. If they pick up Thibodeaux, and they checked with Penei, and Penei gave them that inside scoop on his character 110%. That's a great point, Mike.
A big debate that's going on. What's going on, Antoine Is You High? Love the name. Big debate going on is in this draft. We got 8 picks now, not 9. We got 8. Should we go more offense? Should we go more defense? I hear people say, get the wide receiver, get a quarterback, we can get an offensive line. Then I hear people say, just get all defense. We need to get edge, linebacker, safety, corner. What do you think the Detroit Lions should do in this draft? Should we go more defense? Should be a more defensive type of football draft and maybe just get like one offensive player? What do you think?
So I look here and I look at my positional kind of breakdown, and I got defensive end, safety, wide receiver, linebacker, and I got cornerback, defensive tackle, and tight end kind of at the end of the list there. There's only 2 offensive players on my list. And if I'm thinking of tight end, I've got a guy I'm in love with thanks to the Senior Bowl. Dan Bellinger is exactly the kind of player I think we need on our offense as a tight end, and we can get him later on, right? And so that means wide receiver 32 or 34, and it's stacking defense the rest of the way. That's how I'm attacking this draft if I'm the Lions. Defensive end off the top, go with that edge guy as we talked about. You start looking at 32, it's either safety, your second edge, or a wide receiver. And I wouldn't put it past him to take 2 edges high. You saw him take Levi and Aleem last year, bang, bang, as defensive tackles, which, DTs don't carry as much of that kind of draft capital as some of those other guys do. And we doubled down in there because there was a position need. Levi didn't work out as well as we hoped, injured. He needed some work. We'll see what happens this offseason with the strength and conditioning program and how he builds up. But if he works out like they expect, him and Aleem together could be a hell of a duo. And all of a sudden you pull in, 2 defensive ends and a safety, or a defensive end, safety, and wide out. You've got yourself looking pretty good there on defense. But I think mostly we're going deep on defense in this draft.
We're going all deep. What also, folks, you guys got to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm literally 6 subscribers away from 21,500. Smash that subscribe button. Let's get there. Also, I'm here with Chris from Detroit Lions Podcast. Make sure every single one of you, got 176 in here, subscribe to their channel. I love it. They're my go-to. This is my guy here. We talk behind the scenes. We just have a lot of hard schedules. You don't get to see us on all the time, but they are freaking awesome. Riz, he lives like a mile from me, I feel like. And we got Chris, who's repping all the way down south. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because, hey, they bring fire content, and it's actually original, not stolen content like other people. I think when it comes to the Detroit Lions, man, I want to see them get a linebacker, whether it be at 32 or 34. I think we really need it. Jared Davis come in here. I'm not sold on this guy being, like, people say he's elite and all this. I'm not sold on that at all. Alex Anzalone, to me, is not the future of this football team. I'd love to get a linebacker, maybe a Nakobe Dean or a Devin Lloyd falls. They'd go Quay Walker as well. Something you could look at. Safety, we need to get a safety. You know, I'm happy that we signed Elliott, but we still need a young safety. He's injury prone. I'd love maybe a Jaquan Brisker could fall there, something of that nature. So I think getting those positions are good. And if there is a great wide receiver, and there's plenty in this year's draft, you can get it. You know, if late round 1, 2, 3, we got 2 there. I think that's important. Like you were saying, that tight end. I've been talking about this to my subscribers for some bit. We need to get a tight end number 2. A lot of people say, we can't go tight end. But like you were saying, man, like we do need a number 2 tight end. And it doesn't necessarily have to be early on in the draft. Get in the 6th round, something to help the Lions out. And I think that would be good. What about – go ahead.
I'm telling you, Dan Bellinger, he is dreamy. You'll melt and you'll just float away in his eyes. He's just something special. Like him a lot. He's got the right kind of attitude. We actually got lucky on the way to the Senior Bowl, and we're talking late round pick here, tight end, right? Not super exciting for people, but we got to talk to him in the airport in Atlanta. First saw him in the lounge, the Delta Lounge. Talked to him again, sitting at the gate, and the guy is thoughtful. He is. I mean, he was reading. I'm not going to give away the book he was reading, but he was reading deep, right? He's a smart guy. He knows what he's after. He's devoted. He did a lot of good work. He did a couple drills out there at Senior Bowl where they did some blocking drills, and he lost his first go. And he said, "Let me go do it again. Let me go do it again." And he's playing against a guy that's going to go in the first 2 rounds in the drills, and he went again, and he gritted it out. He didn't win the second time, but he gave it everything. The heart that the guy shows, the ability to be coached, the hard work he puts in. It's hard and weird to have a draft crush in the 6th round, but Dan Bellinger is the guy that I'm all in on.
He's all in, man. He's going all deep into Bellinger. That tight end is going to get real deep, real quick. And I think I got a word for that. Where is the? Here we go.
I'm giving her a D, man, a strong D.
That is right there. He's going deep, man, for Bellinger. So it's really important. Who do you think they're going to take at 32, man? Like, realistically, do you think that?
I'll tell you,
go ahead.
On the linebacker thing, you talked about linebacker. I don't mean to talk over you, Mike. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I talk over myself all the way, man. I'm so good, bro.
I disagree at linebacker, and look, I don't think Neal's the guy. I think he's a little small. I don't think he's going to bring what we want, and I also think about the 4-2-5 kind of setup. I think they're going to be satisfied with what they have at linebacker this year. I just think that's where they're not going to spend a lot of capital. If they do, the 3rd round is where they're going to go. So 32, I'm really in on the idea of Brisker as a safety. Daxton Hill, love him as a safety and the potential he brings. Those are much needed position, especially again with the big secondary. You got that 5 back there. You're going to run 3 safeties a lot. You really want that quality there. You want a young guy to get there, to be there, because after that, right? What are you looking at? Will Harris is the guy that's in there if somebody. Yeah, safety is a desperate need for the way they're doing it, and I think the way they go to this 4-2-5 helps them at linebacker need less capital in that space. So I think that's kind of what they're thinking of. If we go edge, you can talk a little linebacker if you want to say Bouye Mafe. He's a guy that could go at 32. And then I'm really big also wide receiver. You got Pickens potential. You got Dotson. Christian Watson, I've been a little bit down on him as I've started looking into his drops. People are arguing with me about that. I loved him at Senior Bowl. He was spectacular. He looked great in the rain. He was great out there, but maybe I have PTSD. Maybe Eric Ebron touched me in my droppy spaces, but I do not want a guy with a drop rate like that on this team. I've been through it. I've experienced it. I don't need that. Burks could be there. McDuffie could be there. Those are guys I would just be pants off straight off the rest of the night and probably into the next day if we grabbed any of those guys 32 overall.
I love Treylon Burks. McDuffie I've been talking about McDuffie for a while, man. And he would be solid. I know a lot of people don't want to get a corner, but he's a special player, dynamic. I'm with best player available approach. We need so much help on this football team that I don't want to pass up on talent. If it's a wide receiver, it's a wide receiver. If it's a safety, we definitely need safety. My God, I think it has with the first 3 picks. We got to get a safety. I love Jaquan Brisker. One of my favorite safeties in this year's draft. We're not going Kyle Hamilton at 2. Don't believe so. So why not get some help back there? And I love Devin Lloyd. I know that's my favorite linebacker. That's my favorite guy, man. I don't think he's going to be there at 32. I hope so. Go ahead.
Can I give you a little insider info?
Yeah.
I haven't really talked about it too much. I was talking to Jerry Jacobs about a week and a half ago, and I saw the question come up with Holmes, and he was like, "I'm not talking about it." I'm literally around today. It's somewhere within either the last 2 days, the next 2 days, or today. Jerry's gonna start running again. His rehab's great, so he's gonna start moving. He's gonna start moving at speed. He said he expects to be back by training camp and ready to go. So
tell Jerry Jacobs I am really happy for him, man. Congratulations, working really hard. One of my favorite players, man. This guy, undrafted, comes in, just a baller, great mindset. Love this guy, and now he's already getting back to running, man. God bless him. Love it, man. I love it. And he's great.
Holmes was talking about him today and what he brings, not just the grit and the attitude, but that press coverage that he does, how good he is at that, one of the best on the team. To have him out there is going to help this team, is going to make this team better. If he can stay healthy this year, this is the year he makes his name and really comes out for people. But I saw it early. I told him, when we first saw him at OTAs, he was just rocked up. And I'm just like, there's no way this guy can play cornerback. And he flipped his hips, and it was like, whoa, like this, I did not expect. And for me, right, I'm an older guy. When I grew up, big chesty guys I think he said he was like 4 or 5% body fat at the time. Can't move, can't flex like that. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Can't move, can't flex. And when he could do that, and it really was that slap in the face that you've seen these guys doing yoga, these offensive linemen moving and stretching in ways that you don't think a body can even move, much less a guy that size. And it really breaks some of the molds you have and the constructs you use when you're evaluating guys. Jerry was a guy that kind of just blew that out of the water for me. I was like, wow, this guy, he has potential. His hips reminded me of watching Slay in tryouts or in training camp about 3 or 4 years before that. He could flip them like nothing. It was great. He's going to be good. He's going to be good if he can stay healthy. I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
With the rise of Jerry Jacobs, and I like Melifonwu as well, and Amani Awarie, he's definitely good. Okudah better watch out, because these youngins are doing a fantastic job, and just because you got drafted high, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed the spot here. What happens if Jerry Jacobs, Melifonwu, and Amani, they're showing like we think they're going to be, and obviously he's already run his routes? What happens with Okudah? What do you think?
I think that those guys and his fire, these guys feed off of each other. Jerry, they are a group. They are a group of friends. They push each other. They are more than just guys in the same team. They're absolute brotherhood. They're going to push Okudah. Okudah's going to push them, and I think it's going to be better for all of them. There may be a bit of a rotation. There may be some other things, but I think these guys are elevating. And you talk about how cornerbacks grow. The first year, they usually aren't very good, right?
Yeah.
The second year, they start to get better, and then they start to kind of fit into that role in year 3. These guys are coming up as a group. And they're doing it together, and the communication that builds of playing live fire exercises together like that, that's going to pay huge dividends. And I think that's going to elevate Okudah's play beyond as an individual wherever his recovery takes him. I think that group is going to be, it's kind of like, it's a weird kind of a kind of construct, but you think the fighter pilots, 2 pilots together working as a tandem are like 4 fighting alone, right? I mean, it's that multiplication of power. It's exactly what you get with a group of guys like this, and I'm really excited to see how this group comes up this year because they have a lot to offer, I think, and it's going to be really exciting in Detroit.
Yeah, if they can just stay healthy, man, this secondary could be really good, especially if they get a safety. I'm telling you, man, this thing could turn around quicker than a lot of people think. We've had a lot of issues since Pat Matricia with this secondary, and now, like you were saying, them just cohesive unit working together, brotherhood. That brings good news towards our way, and that's exactly what we need because it's been a rough one for sure. But what also is good news, folks, is it's the mailbag segment. It's time for you guys to ask myself or my buddy Chris here a question, or both of us. You got to do #Lions, #Chris, #Mike, hashtag with the word hashtag. It's just so I can see it. If I miss your question, it's okay. There's a lot of you in here. There's over 200 people in here. So make sure you put it in there. We're going to try to get your questions answered. It's probably going to be about draft. And we got the guru here, an insider, who knows all sorts of stuff that maybe we all don't know. So make sure you put it in right meow. I can't wait, man. Who knows what these people are going to say? They dropped some nuggets here, and I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Here we go. Lions, we need to trade for Deebo now. Do you think we need to trade for Deebo now? He must not have been here in the beginning of the opening of the show.
I like Deebo. I like Deebo a lot. I think he elevates this team. It's all about, can you get a longer contract than what he's got, the 1 year I guess he's got left on his contract. I need more than 1 year if I'm trading anything for. If I'm trading his market value, I need more than 1 year in exchange. So I think that's the biggest barrier to seeing him come over here.
Deebo, whoa, Deebo. Oh no, it could be kind of like the Tebow thing. Give me a couple surprise players no one is talking about that teams could reach for in the top 10. Ooh. Well, we could talk about the quarterback position. I think a lot of people saying, oh, there's going to be no quarterbacks taken. That's a bunch of BS, man. It seems like every year quarterbacks taken. I could see Pickett and I could see Malik Willis as top 10. You got Atlanta Falcons, you got the Carolina Panthers. Both those teams need quarterbacks. I think that's very possible. What about you? What do you think about players that get overtaken?
Yeah, I think Malik doesn't get past the Falcons. I like, I think about Carolina and Baker Mayfield and the potential there. If they get Baker, then Atlanta gets their guy. They have Malik and they just go with it. Malik seems like a natural fit for Atlanta as a mobile quarterback. Michael Vick kind of got his start there. I think there's a lot of kind of throwback vibes they can get. That's one team that's going to get a lot of leeway with a quarterback like that because the fan base is used to him. They're not going to be screaming for the coach's head and the GM's head year 2 because the guy's got to develop, right? And they also know, you look at the roster and it's garbage. I mean, Atlanta's roster is terrible.
Hot garbage.
Get Malik now and start building that roster. And as Malik grows, your roster can grow. That's probably the only hope that front office has because they're not getting a quarterback this year. And to go another year without some kind of hope at that position, that's going to be ugly. That's going to be ugly in Atlanta.
You brought his name up, Baker Mayfield. I don't know about you, but Pro Football Talk has been trying to pray that Baker Mayfield becomes a Detroit Lion. Been saying it seems like every day on his show. Do you see the Detroit Lions trading for Baker Mayfield?
No. No, they're in the golf. They're in golf. That's it. And whether you like it or not, whether you trust them. Sorry, I got
You've had enough of that shit.
That's my favorite one.
Whether you're in on golf or not, this team is and this front office is. So there's no Baker in Detroit. The only Baker is the one that made the cake saying Salah was coming, right?
Ooh, cakes. What do you think about moving back in the draft? I don't think they're going to move from 2. I just think that they don't have any trade partners. But 32, I think is very possible. 5th-year option, enticing. Maybe a team wants to get a quarterback. I think if you look at Brad Holmes, what they'd probably really like to do is get some picks for next year's draft, kind of build it up. What if Jared Goff's not the answer? Then they'll have capital to move up in next year's draft. We already got 2 first-round picks. Maybe get another second-round pick or something like that. So potentially look for that. What do you think about moving back in the draft this year?
It's so hard to predict. That's why, like, when I do mocks, I usually don't put trades in because it's just wild pulling hairs out your rear kind of stuff. I see potential though. I think the Lions are absolutely open to it. I just don't know if they find a partner. If they do, if I'm putting myself in Holmes' position, I'm targeting, to drop nowhere lower than 14, maybe 10. I want to get myself Jermaine Johnson. I feel like the drop off from Hutch or Tibbs to Johnson is not significant enough to give you problems as far as the relative difference in quality of players in exchange for the kind of capital that you would get. And right now this team, like I said, we're like defensive end, safety, wide receiver, linebacker, and you start cornerback, defensive tackle, tight end. There's a lot of needs and there's not as many picks as there are needs. Give me all the picks. Get me all these guys this year. Let's see what this team has. Let's see what Jared Goff has this year. Because next year, the one thing that the Malik Willis truthers kind of talk about with we need him at 2 is, well, if Goff isn't your guy, you're done. And I made a statement saying that Jared Goff, you'll know at the end of this year, if he's not your guy, you're going to draft your guy next year. It doesn't, you'll be able to get your guy next year. It doesn't mean you can draft him because he could get 6 or 7 wins. You sure could. And that doesn't mean he's your guy, but you have the capital to move to get the guy you want. First off. Second off, there's the whole creativity. If you look at what they did in LA to get their guy and, the other moves that teams have made to get their quarterback, there's all kinds of potential there. Why wouldn't we give up the next 3 years first round? I'm making shit up here, right? To get a Patrick Mahomes, right? Obviously, I'm making stuff up, but why wouldn't you? He's your guy, and he's the finishing piece on your team. Go for it. I say build your team out now. See what you have in Goff. He's young enough that if he can show up and he can play, if he wins a playoff game next year, even with the extended playoffs, the whole thing, we win a playoff game and then we get shut out in the next game. What do you do about Jared Goff? Where's your head as a fan?
First off, I would be happy. I've never experienced a playoff win. I was 6 years old when I became a Lions fan. I'm born in 1985. That was in 1990. So first off, I will explode in happiness. I think he would be named the greatest quarterback of all time in Detroit.
There you go. That's the thing.
It would be.
Better than Stafford at that point, right? Because there's people, and it's going to be like, what in the hell? He did what Stafford couldn't, right? It's crazy. We'll see. We'll see what we get. The Deebo thing, I wouldn't put it past this offense to be able to put enough points on the board, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But you're going to find out what Goff is this year. I don't think Malik is the guy for our team. I just don't think that kind of a dice roll is valuable enough. So others may want him, and we may be able to get some value along that way.
Folks, I guarantee to miss your question. Just repost it, copy and paste it. If I see it, I'll try to get to it. If I miss it, I'm not intentionally missing it. $1.99 Super Chat. Carson Strong at 97 if he's there. Carson Strong is an intriguing quarterback prospect. He's got a lot of arm talent. He's very talented, accurate, good quarterback, but he's got a lot of injuries in him as well. So many surgeries on his knee. Would you take a flyer on him in the late third round pick?
At 97?
Yeah.
I would. That's about the first place I would want to take a quarterback. And to be honest, I'm not sure I want to, but if he's available, he may be a guy you go for. At that point, we've gotten our defensive end, our safety, we've gotten our wide receivers. You get a quarterback there, okay. I hate the concept of, well, Tom Brady went sixth round. Yeah, well, that's one. Who's the second one that went sixth round, right? I don't know that you're going to find that diamond in the rough, but he's a guy. He could be interesting. He's an interesting player.
I just want a replacement of Tim Boyle and David Blau. Like, I cannot have these guys as a backup quarterback because if Jared Goff goes down, there goes the season. Yeah. I have zero confidence in those guys. I would draft my mother to be a quarterback, okay? And she's almost in her 70s. So, come on, man. Someone to help us out.
She can wing a slipper, though. Let's be honest.
Yo, man. She could fit that slipper out real nice. Hey, it's over with. No doubt about it. We are literally 12 likes away from 100. Smash that like button. We got 224 in the building. Let's get to 100 likes. With your help, we can get it done, man. Show Chat Sports that the One Pride is real. They're always getting on my 2 points of contact about it. Do you think we go safety at 32 and 34? I think we go safety at one of them. We're not going to go both. 32 or 34, I think you got to take a safety if there's one available. You have to, man. To me, it's a major need. It's a huge need.
Yeah, I'm all in on Hill. The thing you have to do is whether you take a safety or a wide receiver or your DE there, right? You have to say, what are the Jags going to do at 33? That's what's going to determine your 32 pick, I think, is what are they going to do or what are they going to trade for? But your safety 32, that's my number one pick for this team. And if you get your Tibbs or Hutch at 2, your safety. And I'm big on Hill. I have to tell you, Jackson Hill, I'm really big on. Brisker, I'm not as high on. I know a lot of people talk a lot, very highly of him. I'm not as strong on him. But then, wide receiver even, I'd hold out till the 3rd round. I'd grab 2 wide receivers in the 3rd round, unless you can get. Look, if Treylon Burks is there, or Pickens, or Dotson, if one of those guys is there, I grab them. But I just don't think that they're going to be there, right? And that's when you start moving out.
Yeah, you want to say thank you, Green Bay Packers, because I fear they're going to take a guy who we really like, and then we got to deal with that guy like Treylon Burks for forever. And that's the last freaking thing I want to see is Rodgers to Burks or Rodgers to Deebo. Oh, my God. I think that would ruin my life. That would ruin it. What type of package would you accept to get out of 32? It just depends who's trading. If it's just a couple picks away in the 2nd round, you're not going to get as much. But if you're talking about out of the 2nd round completely, I want a 1st-round pick next year. Like, if that's what you're talking about. So it just depends on where the team is at in that spot. But that's what I'd be determining. But, yeah, I'm all about trading out. I'm all about it. I want more draft capital. I trust that Brad Holmes knows how to find talent. We've seen it with the Amon-Ra St. Brown. We've seen it with the Melifonwu. And these are later-round picks, so I think we can do it again this year. And if we do it again this year, we're definitely going the right direction. Something this team has never done is build a team through the draft. We've been awful doing it for years. Thoughts on Brian Cook and Majay Sanders? What do you think about them?
I don't know. I think they haven't really made it to the tip of my tongue as potentials where they'll fall for the Lions. Haven't spent a lot of time on them. I'm going to get burned really bad on both of those guys if we wind up trading into a spot where they're going to fall, because I haven't done a lot of work with them because I just don't see them falling where the Lions picks are.
Lions scared of money doesn't make money. Draft Willis because given the Lions' history, Goff will get hurt, and at some point we need a back with some edge. Look, I know a lot of people, you may be one of them. If they feel like Malik Willis is the guy, this is my philosophy of any draft, any quarterback. If you feel there's a quarterback that's elite, you think this guy's elite, you take him. I felt like that with Justin Herbert, that they should have took Justin Herbert. I was big on getting Herbert. Yeah, I'm an Oregon Duck fan, so I got to see a little bit. But if you feel a guy is elite that can change your franchise, you do it. But if you feel he can't be, it's don't do it. That's my philosophy.
I think there's something else at work too, and this is unfortunate potentially if it's true, but these kinds of things do play into these decisions. They've got Jared Goff. They've got an excuse to be in on Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. If they roll on Willis and he doesn't fly, that's a big hit for this front office and coaching staff and Dorsey, they came in and said, this is the guy, and basically broke the quarterback position, because you're going to break it if you bring in Willis. And if he's not the guy, that's a huge, huge risk. If you play another year of Goff and he doesn't work out, that's okay. You still get a chance to draft your guy or trade for your guy. And that's, now you've gone and gotten your guy. You know what I mean? You gave your guy 2 years. That's fair. You go get your guy now, and that's your chance to play your guy and do your thing with your guy. I don't know that you accelerate that timeline if you're the front office and you're still trying to build out the rest of the team. You put Willis out there again. If Jared Goff can't deliver on the talent he had out there last year, how much do you believe this is going to upgrade this year? And how do you think a guy like Willis is going to do with the low-end talent? I mean, Stafford couldn't have delivered last year with the talent we have. It's not going to be significantly better, particularly if you burn early capital on a quarterback. You're going to hamper your ability to build out your wide receiver crew. I just don't think it's the year for quarterback. That's me. And you know, a lot of people disagree. I'm just not a big Malik guy this year.
He's a big taking pictures of Kenny Pickett. I seen it firsthand. He loves taking pictures of Kenny Pickett, and that was actually just Pickett. Well, really wasn't the picture, in all honesty. I just got to put that inside joke, but he does like that. Spirit of Detroit podcast in the building, and Raw Detroit. Make sure you subscribe to their channels. They love doing prospects. Love it, man. They're really good. You got to check him out, Chris. I think we get Kayvon at 2, and then David Ojabo at 32. If we get him, how do you feel? How do you feel about David Ojabo? Gets injured, terrible. He was a good player for Michigan. I don't think they're going to take him. If we get Kayvon at 2, I don't think they go edge at 32. But what do you think about David Ojabo?
I think he'd fall as far as the 40s. I wouldn't take him at 32. At 34 at the earliest, if you're absolutely sold that he's going to be the guy and be okay. I feel terrible for the poor guy getting hurt.
Yeah.
And you know, having done the journey to that point and then to get injured, right, it's just horrible. You know, you just feel terrible for him as a man. But the reality is I just I don't see us taking him at 32. I don't see us taking him at 34 either. He's potential, but I just don't see it.
Folks, make sure you subscribe to Detroit Lions Podcast. They are the guy. This is my go-to. These guys are awesome. Great podcast by Chris. Original content, and I love the original content. You got the Riz on there. Riz is out freaking standing. The guy is a great reporter. He brings knowledge to the game. These guys, I want to get them to 5,000 subscribers. So go to Detroit Lions Podcast and subscribe. You see a little emblem up there? Let me get a little. See a little. Well, dang it, that thing's in the way. There we go. Little emblem right there. DLP, Detroit Lions Podcast. You see it on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Want to get them to 5K. Hey, that's what it's all about, man.
I'd be sitting here hitting your bell and the whole thing. I got it. It's all grayed out. I already got it all handled. Your people there, they're the people watching. They've hit the bell and the subscribe, right? They know about all that stuff.
Yeah. Hit the bell. Smash the bell. I don't know what your percentage. I got like 19%.
Well, here, there's only 116 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Get on that.
Come on, guys. You can do better than that. Come on. I seen a question here. I forgot who it was from. Sorry, I missed it. But Matt Corral, would you take Matt Corral 32? What do you think about Matt Corral? Because I'm conflicted with him.
I'm not in on a quarterback this year. I'm not a Boyle fan. I'm not fans of any of our backups, but you know what I am a fan of is a high draft pick next year if Goff goes down and a new quarterback. End of story. That's it. I hate to say it. If Goff isn't the guy, Corral's not going to be the guy next year.
I'm not a fan of his size.
Yeah, I just don't see any of these guys except potentially Willis being the guy, and that's a flyer, man. That's a flyer to me. I'm worried about Corral's size. He's not a big, thick guy. I'm not talking about tall, but I'm talking about thickness. He reminds me of a dude that you hit him like one time, it could be done with. You know what I'm saying? And we get hit a lot here in Detroit. I just don't know if that's a good fit. That's my thing. Who's got smaller hands, Kenny Pickett or Jared Davis? Kenny Pickett's got smaller hands. Am I right? We, as you said, what was he? The pictures proved it. He couldn't get his hand around a Gatorade bottle. I mean, that was at Senior Bowl. He grabbed that. I'm not joking, right? I mean, you saw it when we did the thing with LNU, who, by the way, Lions Nation Unite, check them out. They're great people over there. But we got a picture of him holding the Gatorade bottle. His hand wouldn't go around it. I've got bigger hands than he does, right? I mean, I'm I actually have kind of big hands though.
Yeah.
But
You got some monster hands, man. You got some pan hands, bro.
White Castle sliders.
You don't need a tennis racket when you go play tennis.
Pickett he didn't have them. Look, he's got everything, but it's kind of like Calvin Austin. What a wide receiver. He's got every single piece of talent you want at a wide receiver position, except he's not tall. And he plays like an outside receiver position. He could do a slot guy, but that's the thing that makes him really, really hard to pick, right? Is he Tyreek Hill, or is he just going to be a guy that's too small to get his hands on the ball? It's scary. Pickett, those small hands, it's a lot to give up, again, for a guy that he's not a Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was a slam dunk, right? I mean, a lot of those guys I even think Trubisky, what is a better quarterback than he was ever given the opportunity to be. I mean, when you look back and you say, who was it? Eric Kramer? Was he the best quarterback ever to play in Chicago as far as yards and so on? I mean,
I don't even remember any quarterback ever playing well in Chicago. That's where quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah, I don't think Trubisky ever had a chance there, So, look, I'm not saying Trubisky's a great guy, but I think there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are better than Pickett's going to be.
Let's put it this way, folks. And as soon as I heard his hand size, I measured my 16-year-old daughter's hands. I was curious. She has the same size hands as he does. That's sad. And it's 100% true. That's not good. We got a question. I don't even know how abnormal is that. The guy's 6'1". My kid's 5'8", and they got the same size hands. It's weird, man. It's weird. I'm sorry. Chris says, how many linebackers will we draft? I say 2. Where in the draft? 1 at 32 or 34 or 1 later? How many linebackers should we get?
Linebacker, again, we're playing this 4-2-5, we have a whole lot of linebackers. If we grab one, it's 32, 34. I'm thinking actually look at Muma at 66.
I like Chad Muma. He's good.
Yeah, I think that's kind of more the space you're looking for a linebacker. There's only going to be 2 on the field. You're not worried as much about linebackers and coverage because you have 5 secondary players out there. That's why you need a big safety, right? That's why you need that kind of both-way safety guy. It's not as big a need for us, and I wouldn't see one before the third. Riz says we're not going to see anything even in the third. It'll be later before we even see a linebacker pulled on for this team. I think, he might be in a little bit of the wacky tobacco, but it is legal there, right? Whatever. But the third is the first place that I think the Lions are going to go grabbing for a linebacker.
$4.99 super chat. Who would they have to take at 2 and 32 for you to be disappointed? For me to be disappointed, I'm not the Trayvon Walker. I think that would disappoint me a little bit. I didn't see the production that I would like to see at the number 2 pick. I would like to see either Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeaux. That'd kind of disappoint me a little bit. It would. At 32, it just depends who's available. Who would be available and you take over that person? I really like Treylon Burks. If he was sitting there, man, you'd be hard not pressed to take him. The 2 safeties, I'd like them to take. So if they went, I don't know, if they went like defensive tackle at 32, I think that kind of disappoint me a little bit.
I think Ajabo, would disappoint me at 32. Yeah, I want a guy that's going to impact right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the thing where the Lions are. They are so bereft of talent. They need, through the first 3 rounds, they need all of those guys to hit. They might be able to swing and miss on one, but they need playing talent out of all of those guys. And you can't take a flyer on a guy like Ajabo. It's the same reason I'm out on Willis, right? Look, if we were in better shape, I'm like, hey, let's get Willis in there. Let's get him a shot. We have such a dearth of talent. We need to get players on this team. It's a tough year to be number 2. If you need a quarterback, it's a tough year to be number 2 and take a quarterback if you need talent across the board. And we're in that latter category.
Great question here by Zach J. Mike for president. I'd love it. Lots of rumors floating around. Who would you want to avoid trading for? I'm going to be blunt. I don't want to trade for anybody right now. I want to just draft our players. After the draft, maybe a player v. player type of trade. But I am not in the business right now of trading away draft picks. I just want to build through the draft. But after the draft, we kind of see if there's still holes left or if we didn't get a position of need. Maybe I'd avoid trading for, I don't even know. Who's that wide receiver from the Giants they drafted last year? I forgot. I heard he's kind of on the trade block. I'd try to avoid Kadarius Toney. They got to avoid trading for him. That'd be a guy, because I know the Giants fans are not a fan. Oh, yeah. You would know a little bit more. I didn't even think about that. Who would you avoid trading for?
I'm all about trading for more draft picks this year. Like the question earlier about trading out 32, there is some value there for that fifth-year option for the team, that because there's going to be quarterbacks that fall there. There's going to be teams that are like, I want to take that. I have enough talent on my team that I'm willing to take a flyer and give up another pick to go like a round 2 and a 4th round pick somewhere else in the second and get another 4th. We've seen what Holmes can do in the 4th, right? I'm all about that. I like that. More draft picks, more talent, more players. I trust Holmes through the 4th. I mean, what was it? Anzarike and Jamar Jefferson, which was kind of a throwaway pick. He got hurt. But otherwise throughout the draft, Holmes looked good top to bottom with every single play. Those guys played, whether through injury or not, they played and they did well, much less the undrafted guys. If I get a 4th round pick, I feel like that's a magic spot for Holmes to find somebody. So I'm all about, pulling out that 32 and turn it into more capital. Yeah, and if you watch the draft, if you don't have a 4th round pick, it's really boring. So you would like to have something there. Tell everybody about your channel and Detroit Lions podcast and what you guys are doing on the draft. Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff going on. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it a little bit, Mike. We did our weekly show yesterday. We've got a lot of coverage coming. We've got edge, so it's going to be Hutch and Tibbs. We've got some really good wide receiver coverage coming up. We've got some another position group we'll talk about that's coming up that you guys will really like. Those are going to drop in the next couple of days. Tuesday, Mike's going to be on. We're going to do a 7-round draft simulation. We're going to go to town and really pull some in. We're going to have Mike, the king of YouTube, and we'll have Colin, who's doing the breakdowns for us. That'll all break out on Tuesday. Then draft day comes, and we have live coverage on Thursday and Friday, the first 3 rounds of the draft. When you don't have a 4th round pick, you just say, I'm not sitting there for that. I'm going to go drink some beer alone. Right? So we got 2 days of live draft coverage. We call it our annual draft party. First of the Detroit media to do live, the podcasts to do live Lions-based coverage. We beat the Lions doing it, right, up the draft through the length of the draft. So love having people come out and join us. And if you're not watching Mike, get 2 screens going. Get Mike going on one side, and get us going on the other side, and say, you know what, this is good because you can get the bands going on, and maybe, just maybe, we could do a little bit of a raid or something to kind of poke some fun with each other in between some of the picks, man. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. We'll be pushing each other. That's what I love doing. We'll do a little bit of raids there. But, yeah, coverage is going to be on their channel, on LNU, and on my channel. Those are the only 3 you need to go to. The real, when we talk about One Pride, we talk about the pride, man. This is the Detroit. This is where you want to go. You want to go to Detroit Lions Podcast, LNU, and, of course, my channel, folks. That's for sure. I appreciate you coming on, man, talking some Detroit Lions. Week away, folks. A week away. And we finally get to see all this talk come to an end. We know who are at. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Subscribe to Detroit Lions Podcast. With that said, folks, adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. Just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just wanna be